Hello! Hi guys! So for today's video, what I've decided to do is take a minute to talk to you about sunless tanners and skin cancer. The reason why these two things go hand in hand for me is because of my own experiences. I myself have had skin cancer, basal cell carcinoma to be more specific. I was actually diagnosed with my first basal cell carcinoma at the age of 30. I remember feeling like the only way to get tan was to not wear sunscreen as I got older. Basically, I will admit that I was ignorant and I thought that you couldn't get a tan through SPF. So, I believe it was around the age of 16. I started to lay in the tanning bed, and that would be my biggest downfall. My very first job was at a tanning salon. One of the perks of working there was free videos and free tanning. Took full advantage of the free tanning. I would say that it's been well over 10 years, 10 or 12 years since I've laid in the tanning bed. One of the last times I remember was, I think I was in my 20s, like my early 20s, 21 years old, 22, and I went on a trip to Las Vegas and I thought I had to be so tan. And looking back now, it wasn't as pretty as I thought it was. Like, I thought the tan meant beautiful. Well, I am now suffering the consequences of that. You never think this type of thing is going to happen to you. So the first step with skin protection starts with your face. I think your face is so important to keep protected from the sun, and I've been doing this for years now. I even actually started this before I was diagnosed with skin cancer, but so this is the most important thing to do, and every single day I wear sunscreen on my face, whether it be in the form of an actual sunscreen, if I'm going out like on the beach or by the pool or whatever, or I use it in the form of makeup. So these are kind of the sunscreens that I use on my face. One is the NARS. It's a Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. So this is just basically a tinted moisturizer. This is kind of a darker color for me. And then I'll use this Revision Skincare. And this is a broad spectrum SPF 45. So this is a 30, this is a 45. But this is a little bit lighter than my NARS. But this is what I use every single day. So even if I'm just out running errands, or I'm taking the baby for a walk, or whatever I'm doing, big or small, no matter how much time I'm going to spend outside, I wear a tinted moisturizer or a sunscreen of some sort. You don't have to use the expensive types like these. You can use anything. Just protect your face. So in regards to just sun protection, I would always wear a sunscreen. We take at least an annual beach trip every year, and I make sure myself, my spouse, and the baby, who's 3, actually make sure everyone wears sunscreen, minimum of 30. Now, you still want to feel good and you still want to look good. So, sorry, phone call. So for me, what to me feels good and looks good is to have a little bit of color. What I've been using is actually a drugstore sunless tanner, and it is by the brand Bondi Sands. Now, you can actually purchase this brand at Walgreens. This is the self-tanning foam 1 Hour Express. So what's really good about this product is, depending on the length of time that you leave it on, will depend on how dark your tan gets. So for this one, 30 minutes gives you light to medium coverage, light to medium coloring, excuse me. 1 hour gives you dark color, and 2 to 3 hours gives you the darkest. Now, for me, I always do this, like once I start getting into my routine of self-tanning, I will usually do this on Sundays. And I do this Sunday evenings, and I just sleep in it. So, trust me, this will not ruin your sheets. So, this is the tanner I use. The other product that I'm going to mention is this, the Bondi Sands, and it's a Gradual tanning milk. So what this is a buildable body moisturizer that actually, the more you use it, it's like a gradual tanner, kind of like Jergens that a lot of people get. So this is like Jergens, but oh my goodness, the smell. This smells just like cocoa butter. So if you remember, like way back in the day, I remember my mom always tanning and then always using that, I think it was Banana Boat, the cocoa butter, the smell that was kind of like, it just reminds me of the beach. That's what this smells like. And when you apply it, it smells exactly the same. So, let's talk about the tanning process now. I'm not going to strip down and show you exactly how I do a tanner. I just don't feel comfortable to do that. So I will just walk you through my process. So, number 1 to do for your tanning process is to shower. So you shower, you shave, and you exfoliate. So I always exfoliate before I shave, okay? So when you exfoliate, you can either use a body scrub Or you can use like a body scrub or like exfoliating body wash, whatever you want to use. Or you can use these. These are exfoliating mitts. These can be purchased at any drugstore, at Walmart, at Target. I guarantee you can buy these anywhere for $1 or $2. I'd say Amazon even has these. I always just pick these up whenever I go anywhere. Anywhere I go, I buy these, okay? And they're machine washable. You squeeze a little bit of product into it, foam it up, and then you scrub your body. Now, I do neck to toes, okay? I'll even scrub the bottom of my feet, everything with this. Now, your face, I would recommend an exfoliator for your face. I have been using the McLana Handmade coffee scrub, and I'll put a link down below, and you can actually get a 10% off by using the code Hillary10 to get a discount off of this exfoliating scrub if you'd like to try it. If you have a Clarisonic, you can use that to exfoliate. Whatever it is that you use, just get away all the dead skin cells. What I always do is whenever I get out of the shower, I give my skin at least 30 minutes before I start tanning. That way everything's dry, everything's ready, and I have a fresh slate to start my tanning process. So the first thing you want to have is a tan application mitt. Now this one is a Saint-Tropez, and it's just, I buy these in bulk because I go through them. So I have this one. This is from Loving Tan. I think that the Bondi Sands actually has a mitt similar to this that you can use. So any type of tanning mitt. I don't recommend using your hand. I would use a mitt. What you do, so first things first, you take your mitt, and here's what the applicator looks like on the tanning mousse. So it comes out like a mousse, just like your hair mousse would come out. So you take that, you know, you don't even have to shake it up. I don't even think it says to shake up. And then you squirt a little bit on your mitt, okay? Now, you'll have to decide how much of the product to use for yourself. So it depends on body surface areas. I've noticed that this product seems to dry a little bit quickly. So I would start in small amounts and build my way up. So what I do is I take the mitt, put the product on the mitt, and then I'll take the body part, and then I do circular motions, okay? So I always start at the bottom and move my way up. So I'll do my legs first, and I'll do thin layers, okay? And you're rubbing it in circular. It goes on in a color, like a bronze color, to where you can tell where all you've got your product placed. So then you're gonna let that dry, and I do 2 coats. So let that dry until it feels dry to the touch, okay? Because you don't wanna keep building product up on top of itself. You wanna make sure everything's good and dry before you start another layer. Before you actually start applying your tanner, use a lotion to keep places from getting too much buildup. So those include places like your knees, your elbows, around your ankles. I think that's basically it. The places that I usually apply lotion to would be those. Now, if you forget to apply your lotion beforehand, that's okay, because you can still use lotion after. What I have been actually doing is taking the Bondi Sands, the Gradual tanning milk, same thing of like Jergens, and I use this on my feet, my ankles, my knees, and my elbows. Like I said, those places that tend to build up a little bit more of the product. This way, you still get a little bit of a tan and some color in those areas, but it's not as dark as the tanner. So I'll also take it and rub it on like my knuckles and like around my hands. Now, I usually put lotion on before I use my mitt, before I use like a tanning mitt to apply this self-tanner, because I've noticed that sometimes it seems to like seep through the mitt. So if you put a lotion on the palms of your hands and on the fronts of your hands, you don't get those markings. So then what I do is I try to let the product dry as much as I can, which, you know, sometimes we're all busy. We have so much going on. We don't have time to stay in the bathroom for 45 minutes while we let for our tanner to dry, okay? So a little trick I found is to take a powder. So you can use baby powder. Note to self, don't ever turn any type of powder upside down in your hands, because you never know if it's open or not. So take a powder, any type of powder. I actually use baby powder. Anywhere to where skin touches and it feels tacky and like it pulls, use some powder. You can put it under your armpits so you don't have to use that, so you don't have to put deodorant or anything on and rub it, especially if you're just doing it at night, which, I mean, I always tan and then rinse it off before I go out somewhere. That's why I like Express tanning foams. I like for things to work fast, and then I don't have to leave the house like that. So use the powder, dab it, like I said, in those areas that seem a little bit tacky and seem to take a little bit longer to dry, under your arms, behind your knees, in between your elbow folds. Put it in those places and it'll absorb. So that's kind of how I set everything. And like I said, I always go for the max amount of time to leave it on. So even if it says 2 to 3 hours to get the darkest tan, I always sleep on it. So I'm at least given 8 hours. The way I tan my face, okay, I don't use the mitt on my face at all. I actually don't usually worry about my skin breaking out from the self tanners because I've used basically all of them. I haven't ever noticed that. But I've learned a little trick. And the trick I've learned is actually to contour your face with your tanner so that way you get a little bronze look, kind of like the sun-kissed look, without going overkill. So the way that I do that is to use a brush, a makeup brush. So I actually use this one. It's from Escentuals. It's a flawless body brush. I have had this for years. I used to use the Escentuals self tanners like years ago. I mean, it's probably 10 years old, to be honest with you. So it actually came from QVC from years ago, like I said. So it probably is not available anymore. I don't know. It's antique. So I use this to tan my face. But you can use something even like an old makeup brush. Like this is a Real Techniques stippling brush. Any type of like flat puffy brush would work. So what I do is I take, which I'll show you with this brush instead of this one, you put the tanner, the foam, on your makeup brush, just like you would makeup, and then you just contour with it. So the way that I would apply tanner would be here, up here, along the hairline. I would do under the chin, because you've already tanned your neck, so you just make sure you get it all blended up here. And then I do this cheekbone, this hairline, and sometimes I'll put it along like the sides of my nose to kind of contour my nose and the tip. But that's basically the only places. Now, you can bring it on out a little bit. You know, it's going to look a little bit crazy when you do it because, like I said, it's a bronzing color. But whenever it dries and by the next day when you rinse everything off, it just looks like you've got a little bit of a tan. So that way, you don't even have to wear makeup. If you just want to do a little bit of concealer under your eyes, you've got a little bit of a natural color. Finally, my last bit of advice is to use a Gradual everyday tanner like the Bondi Sands or the Jergens or whatever kind, the Saint Tropez, whatever kind you want to use, the Gradual tanners. Use those to keep your tan lasting longer. So what I usually do in the summertime or spring, once I start to wear skirts and things like that, I will use I will self-tan usually like on Sundays, part of my self-care regimen. And then every day I just use a tanner or a Gradual tanner to help build the product and make your tan last longer. Okay guys, I hope that you found this information useful about my personal history with skin cancer and the importance of wearing sunscreen and avoiding tanning beds. But I also hope that I was able to help you with some information about some self-tanning products that you too can purchase from the drugstore. So if you want any additional information, please let me know. And as always, please subscribe. Thanks guys.